I want to look at the humanitarian situation in Libya specifically. Speak to James Elder about that, a spokesperson for UNICEF, which is the United Nations Agency for Children, on the line from Benghazi. Specifically, James, what is the situation for children like? They can't have anything that resembles a normal life at the moment.
No, absolutely. It's a war zone. Everything you imagine from a war zone we are seeing both in Misrata and those children who are lucky enough to have got out. I say lucky enough because that's what one father said to me as we sat over the hospital bed of his little 9-year-old boy, Musa, who had shrapnel wounds across his face. He called him one of the lucky ones. Now, it gives you a sense then of those children who are still in Misrata. It's a war zone. There is, as everyone has been repeatedly saying, indiscriminate firing. Children continue to be caught in the crossfire. That means of shelling, of mortars, of shooting. The injuries we see are typical of a war zone. Our head injuries, chest injuries, and yet we are talking of children. We're talking of babies, we're talking of teenagers, everyone in between. Unfortunately, as the United Nations and as UNICEF has been saying for weeks, this is going to continue. We're going to see these horrible injuries and deaths on children, on civilians, unless there is a ceasefire in Misrata and across the country.
Right, so tell me what you've been able to get, you as UNICEF, what you've actually been able to get through to people who need it.
Well, we had another boat go in yesterday. The first supplies in Misrata were a couple of weeks ago. Emergency health supplies, medical supplies, obstetrics, all those things that a hospital requires in a situation like this when they're under siege, when they've got an incredible caseload and they've got an incredible type of injuries. The shipload that went in yesterday was taking in things like water. We have water problems now, drinking water problems for the civilian population. Remembering that beyond the fighting, their essential daily needs of children just aren't being met. So a lot of water, things like recreation kits. It may sound fairly secondary amid such a conflict, but children have been trapped indoors for almost 2 months now. They need their monotony broken. They need their trauma broken. Their parents are stressed. They are stressed. They've seen things that no child should see. And as we all know with kids, they will live in a moment. If you can give them something to break away from that moment, some toys, some recreation, then you hope that they can escape the reality.
So the situation, not just the situation for the children, but the situation that you are working under is difficult. I definitely appreciate that. It sounds to me like you're managing to get stuff in. There's talk of humanitarian corridors. There is an ability to move around and get the things out to people. Could the UN be doing more? Are you operating at what you could be?
I think on a supply level, there's no doubt that the United Nations is probably getting insufficient amounts. We're in regular contact with doctors. We know their needs. We're meeting those needs. There are other organisations getting some civilians out from the migrant workers in that sense. But at the end of the day, the ultimate United Nations work we want is to have a presence constantly in Misrata to a full assessment to understand exactly the situation. That again requires a cessation of hostilities. So at the moment, at a supply level, yes, an enormous amount is going in, but civilians will only be protected, children will only be protected when the guns stop firing.
James Elder, spokesperson for UNICEF, on the line from Benghazi there. Thank you for your time.